Yo, what up? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Brothers of Legacy. Welcome to the Brothers of Legacy. Thank you guys for rocking with us and hanging with us. Just another day that the Lord blesses. Lisa, thank you for rocking with us as always and sharing and being a part. If you're part of the text group, if you're not, text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. And again, welcome, and welcome to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we talk about all kinds of topics and interesting things every single day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. until we get tired of talking. So we appreciate you guys rocking and hanging and being here. So make sure, listen, what I need you to do, like right now, not now, but right now, is share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Make sure you share this broadcast out. I am doing so right now because this is what I do. Make sure you're a part. Make sure you share to your group, share in your inbox. Let everybody know that the brothers is on. And make sure you let your friends, family, and if you're part of the text group, make sure you text friends and family as well. Let them be a part of this conversation. Conversation, right? And what you call this? All right. So make sure you do so, and I will appreciate that very, very much. Let's do this. Spliggly splow, and you'll never, ever, never, ever, you'll be blessed by it. So, and again, welcome to the Brothers of Legacy, where we don't stand out, we stand up, and we are talking about all topics, all things that men are facing, everything. We're here every day, so we're talking about. And if we're missing something, let us know. Make sure you send us your topics. We got some topics in the queue from some of our people that I've not shared yet. So actually, I might get to that this week because it's time to release some of these topics. But I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being a part of my podcast, people. My podcast is steadily growing, and I appreciate it. If you've not subscribed to the podcast and hear us on the go, if you missed any episodes or broadcasts, make sure you are subscribing if you're part of Apple Podcasts. And what I ask you to do is please rate and review. Give us the 5 stars. Give us a good review. It helps with the analytics on Apple or any podcast platforms that you're using. Be sure to check us out. Go to the Brothers of Legacy. You'll see that symbol in his face. And that will be it. So make sure you're a part of the Brothers of Legacy podcast as well. What else do I have? Make sure you go to the website, www.brothersoflegacy.com, www.brothersoflegacy.com, for 2 reasons. 2 reasons I need you to get to the brothersoflegacy.com. One, I need you to order the BOL apparel, www.brothersoflegacy.com, www.brothersoflegacy.com, as well as become a member and partner. It costs nothing at this time, so make sure you join. We have information in the database, and we're doing some live things happening in communities coming real soon, and I want you to be a part of that. So make sure you go to www.brothersoflegacy.com. Go to brothersoflegacy.com. So today, we are discussing what changes a man, right? What changes a man? We're going to really dig into the things that help with the transformation, what that transformation looks like, and what hinders us a lot of times, as well as what pushes us most of the time. So this is going to be a great conversation. It's probably going to be just me today, so I'll be digging into that, as well as, throw some comments up, throw some questions up, that as we have this conversation, because this is about a two-way street, We got to be talking. If you're listening on the podcast, you're like, man, I want to be a part of that conversation. Make sure you go to the Brothers of Legacy on YouTube. I'd rather you go to YouTube or connect with the LWN. Connect with us. Text LWN to 84576, and you'll get that link every single morning. All right. So be sure, stay here. We're going to be right back. I think I got a lot going on in this computer. All right. So yeah, make sure you are part of our crew. Like I said, go to brothersoflegacy.com. Get our freshest t-shirts, apparel, get the Be a Well apparel, as well as become a member and partner with us. We are gathering information to connect businesses and brothers that are looking for opportunities as well. So go to the www.brothersoflegacy.com. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and kick this off. Uno momento, por favor. All right, let's go. Let's get it. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. And welcome back. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. I'm having some troubles with this. Okay. That's why. That makes sense. All right. So, like I said, today we're discussing what changes a man. And for the most part, I'll be sharing some of my personal journey into things that have happened. Hey, Mama McCoy, great morning to you. So make sure you share. Sharing is caring, and be a part of this conversation. So today we're talking about what changes a man, and one of the things I want to start off by saying, a lot of times change kind of happens, or change or the issues of a man usually come out most in relationships, it seems, based on my perspective, my view of a lot of men that have changed. It generally starts with a relationship, but it doesn't mean the woman necessarily changes a man. So let's follow me along with this. So it's change happens internal. External can show, or like pastor sometimes, the mirror, be a mirror for you to showing the things, the areas that need help or need changing. Because a lot of times, in a relationship, your issues get blown up more because you're around somebody, basically because you're around somebody more, so they can kind of point out or say, listen, you got issues in this area. There's, this little, there's problems in this space here, or you need to be mindful. You seem like you get upset really quick, whereas if you're not in a relationship, people that aren't around you all the time, they don't see all of what you do, and they only see one side of you. Because you ever have people, and I know people have been in relationships, or they've known folks personally, whereas professionally in all other spaces, they seem so great and wonderful. But when it comes to their personal, they are a mess. They have issues, but no one sees it, because if I'm in church and I sing, all they see is me singing. If I'm in church and serving, all they see me doing is serving. They don't ever get to see my emotions. They don't get to see my attitudes. They don't get to see me react to certain things. All they see is one side. So that, in itself, they don't get to see certain aspects unless all, my bad, my bad behavior, or, unpleasant behavior begins to spill over into other areas. Like some people that even have drinking problems, they can handle going to work, handle going to church, but they're a mess at home. So it's, some people don't see it. So like I said before, a lot of times in a relationship, it's usually the wife or significant other that sees more of this, or children that sees more of who you are than anybody, and you can always kind of put on a front, and act a certain way because, like, when you go to work, it's your position. you you can hold it down, especially if you've been doing a position a long time. You know how to hold it down and do it without any effort, without ever showing or taking off the mask, because this is what you've always done, you know. So we're talking about what changes a man. So we're talking about first, who recognizes the problem. Friends can see it, if they're around you enough, but significant others see it more than anybody. And a lot of times, even family needs to be convinced if they're not around you a lot, because even as you grow up, if for the most part, once you become an adult, you're not around family as much for some, so you're around your significant other, you're around your children, but no one else really sees you as much as those people, as your family, as far as your significant other and your children. Um, but as you become, you get older, the effects of what you do, you know, affects your household. And I'm talking from a male perspective. It affects your wife, it affects your children, and you can see, so the next step is listening and understanding what kind of needs to change, right? But you have to recognize what needs to change. You have to recognize what's going on inside that needs to change on the outside. you know you have to recognize what's your triggers and what's setting you off, or what's putting you in this bad space, or why do you speak that way, or why do you think that way. Um and you have to begin to make that transformation. One of the main things is responsibility and accountability, going through that motion, and beginning to understand what it is that you need to change in your life. What is it that is affecting everybody that you need to change? Um, and hold on, I'll be right back after this. All right, so yeah, I just had to take a quick break. Just had to have a thought moment. What's up, Mark? Yes. Boom. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good morning, Miss Yvonne. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Make sure you tag somebody. We're talking about what changes the man. So first, having that accountability is a definitely key. Accountability and responsibility is key. Now, I will say as a caveat, I talked about this probably some weeks ago, because I was sitting there talking like I talked about this before, but we're going to kind of dig into it a little more. And as you're listening, feel free to throw some questions up. Let's have a conversation about changes. And of course, I'm put on there what changes a man, because this is the Brothers of Legacy. But my ladies are in the building, so you can talk about that as well. Or if you have any questions, please feel free to throw it up there. So one of the things, though, I think one of the most challenging parts about change is being able to be honest, being honest about who you are and what you're doing, because a lot of times we're not honest about who we are, what we're doing. We have to recognize the effects of our behavior, and a lot of, and if you have kids, it reflects a lot in your children. And most times it's an overtime thing. But you see it and you're like, oh, and things that your kids say, can affect you tremendously. Yes. Um, and we have to be mindful of the family, our family, how we're reacting or how we're affecting them. And in that, once you realize what's going on and what's happening, you have to make the adjustment in your life to want to do better and recognizes exactly what it is I need to change, right? Because a lot of in my marriage, we had issues and problems, and my wife wanted more, wanted me, in a better place or a particular place, and it was hard hearing it, and then it was like there were points that I was trying to change for her instead of changing for me, because when you're changing for someone else, it's harder to maintain. Also, you can't keep something up if the reason that you're changing doesn't work out. Meaning, if we didn't work out, then I go revert back. You know, whereas the changes that I'm making are healthy for me. Not just for her. She reaps the benefits. Right, right, right. And you can't keep it going. You can't keep it going because in the end, and good morning, sweetie Bob. in the end, oh, in the end, you can't. It's almost like another facade. We have our we have our work facade. We have our church facade. Even some have their hangout facade. The the other face they put on, and then you come home, and if you're trying to fake the funk at home, you can't maintain that. The true you, if any place, is going to come out at home. And the worst part about trying to be something that you've not settled in yourself to be, you know so you're being something that you're really not. If you're doing it for someone else, then it's not really you doing it. You're doing it to, because we do it at work, and let me break down. When you go to work, kind of faking it in the sense where even if your whole world is crumbling, you got the worst attitude, you got to go to work, you got to shut it off, you got to put on a good attitude, even though everything is crumbling in your life. Everyone's been through that. You got to still go to work and smile because it's not the customer's fault that your world is falling apart. Like, so they got a problem. Your job is to fix that problem. And so it's putting, you can't, and though you can go to work and put that facade on, you know, maintaining that facade at home is challenging. It's challenging. So you don't want to have a facade. You want to be you. So that is the key. The first thing is recognizing what it is, knowing what I need to change, and then begin to make that change internally for yourself, knowing what the benefits or rewards are for changing that. Yep, I am. Oh, knowing what the changes are and knowing what it's going to take to become, better, right? And so once you understand, like, okay, I need to change this, a lot of times it's behavior that's triggered. You know, what is it that's kind of put me in this place? And then, so how can I react better or not let this thing change my attitude or change my language? Because even in most relationships, people that stick with abusive spouses, there's good times. There's good times. And then there's something that sets them off. And whatever sets them off doesn't matter. you know, it's something that sets them off, and they go into a different space. And not really going as far as abuse. It just could be you always just get upset, you always just you yell. And though there's no direct pain, they may not be yelling, cursing, or whatever. They just their temperature just always rising so quickly it ruins the night, you know? And it's like it's not worthy of like calling the police or anything like that. It's disturbing. So we're gonna microsize. It's just yelling, and it just ruins the night. Like everybody was cool until you blew your top, and now you're trying to settle and apologize to everybody, but it just changes things. And then keeping it real, if you have kids, You're teaching them to yell. This is how you handle stuff, by yelling. This is how you get through things, by yelling. So when you hear them, sometimes that's the moment that you like, man, my behavior, something is off. Why my son yelling like that? Why my daughter yelling like that? You know, but you set the standard. You show this is how we behave. This is how we act. And it doesn't matter how much you say, it's what they see you do. This is what they're trained to learn by what they see. You know, what's it? Do what I say, not what not what you see. Do what I say. Oh, let's see. Thank you. It's easy being me. Oh, the true me. Yeah, it is. You should be yourself. And if there's change that needs to happen, making the change and still being true to yourself. But there's things that need to be worked on. I'm never. I hate that's just who they are. Like, yeah, who they are is kind of like wrong. They need to recognize that these things is wrong. For people say that, like, that's me. That's just who I am. Like, who you are is not right. Like, that don't make it right. Like, I get it. It's ingrained in who you are, but that you need to make some adjustments. You need to figure out how to make that work, because nobody likes you in that space. Like, or most of us, we don't, if that's who you are, then fine, I'm gonna leave you alone. You understand what I'm saying? So, I like everyone to be true to true, be who you are, be true to yourself. But when there are issues or problems or things in your character that make it challenging to deal with you, those are the things that need to be changed. Great morning, Cheryl. Hey, it's been a minute. How are you? Good, good, good. Good to see you. Those are the things that need to be changed. When it's those characteristics that make it difficult to be around you. You know, like people, like I said, something that blows you up, like, man, they cool. But then they just one thing sets them off. And then it just ruins the night. You know, one thing sets them off. And now they're in another space. They can't function. Oh, right. Great to be seen. I know that's right. We have to be in the mindset of allowing people, to be honest with us, especially those that we trust, those that are closest to us, and allow them to speak to you and be, that mirror, be that mirror in your life to really help you become better. Not change you, but help you become better. Because who you are at the core is good. You just need some work in certain areas. And I believe we get better when we're shown better and we understand who we are, what we need to be. And this goes for everybody because I get those, if you saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled, but there are things that you need to work on. There are things that need help. There are things that you need to become better. And as you, and God put certain people in your space to say, hey, that little attitude of yours, you need a little adjustment. I get what you're doing. I get what you're saying, but it's how you're saying it, how you're sharing it that matters. Good morning, Keita. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys for rocking with us. So making the changes in in your life are definitely it's needed, you know. And like I said, if you see someone that you love, that there are things that they're doing that aren't healthy or ineffective or they're not pushing things forward, you correct in love, like, hey, I love you, we hang out. Hey, but when you do such and such, it kind of changes the mood. It kind of shifts things. And you don't want to change somebody. You can't change you can't change anybody. But you want them to recognize and do a self-examination for themselves to understand that uh, what's happening on the inside is affecting on the outside. And I don't know, every time we have this particular discussion, they are you're changing, your mood changes. What is it? What's going on? Have the conversations, because even in relationships, we all have hangups somewhere. We have hangups, we have baggage. We come together, and now it's time to unpack the baggage. There shouldn't be any baggages unpacked, not unpacked when you're in a relationship. Nothing. Everything should be unpacked. Everything should be opened up. All right, this is my issue. This is what I'm dealing with. And I know sometimes you don't know until a situation happens. You know, it could be anywhere as simple as you like the toilet paper pull from the roll front. you know, and for whatever reason they have a hang up, they like it from the back. Because 100 years ago, when it's pulling frontwards, there was bugs in it or something. Like it could be anything. Something happened, and it's understanding that and changing your mindset about it. Now that's real basic, but if we want to talk about internal, it's just your reaction to it. Like, why are you tripping out? Why are you bugging out? Why are you losing it over this little situation? But you have the conversation, you understand, okay, I hear you. And then if internally, like, if it's something that can be compromised, it's compromised. But I know it's probably a bad example then, but honestly, like, if it's something that always changes the mood and puts everybody in a bad space, then it's something that you need to work on, something that you need to change as far as your reaction, you know. So it's we have to understand. So first we recognize what it is, we make the changes, we become accountable for it, and then we start working on not being triggered. Not being triggered. Don't get triggered by every little thing. Don't get triggered by everything that's happening in front of you, or whatever it is that triggers you. You have to, how can I put it? You have to be able to recognize the trigger and not react, you know, like, or find ways to suppress the reaction, because it's not healthy. So when the thing happens, you kind of got you got to breathe and work your way through it. And if it's with your significant other, have a conversation. Like, this thing always seems to trigger me, right? And once you recognize, like, if they're looking like you're about to blow your top, like, I don't know what it is. Every time you do such and such, it triggers me. Then you have the conversation, and then as a person that's on the other end of it, be willing to listen, no matter how crazy it may seem to you, because everybody have a different perspective on life. No matter how crazy it may seem to you, just listening and having the conversation and reaching an understanding of what is it, how can we work through this thing so that you can be better. And like I said, it's not about changing for somebody else, it's changing for you. you know as a man, we are, if we're leading, we're heading our households, we have to be mindful of our attitude, the things we say, and how we lead. And if we're triggered and we have issues that we don't deal with, that we see or been pointed out, um, then it affects our legacy. It affects where we're going. It affects what we do. It affects everything around us, and then we become ineffective. Even as much as, like, I try to be Christ-like in front of my children, and I take them to church and we do, study, we pray and all that great stuff. If I'm not living that example, because my son is seeing what I live, not just what I say. So if there's correction that needs to happen, he needs to see that transformation. He needs to see that you can get better, that you can grow from whatever issues you have. Because that's another part of it. It's not just seeing you work it out perfectly, but knowing that, okay, I've seen dad in this space, but now he's in a better space. So you can change. I can get better if I have some issue or hang up, you know, and knowing that you don't have to be this way forever, that you can change. And I have to work this out in examples. And, as we move on in a lot of these broadcasts, and I'm kind of cool with rocking here alone because I want to lay a lot of foundation of legacy is not just about leaving stuff. Legacy is what you're leaving on the inside of others. Um, Cheryl says change internally is so important when done for ourselves. If done for others, yeah, it will revert at some point. Definitely, most definitely, all the time. Um, so legacy is what you leave on the inside. Legacy is the teaching, the knowledge, the wisdom. Because I was thinking about that, like legacy. A lot of people think about legacy and the stuff and land and things of that nature. That's great. Um, but are you setting your legacy up for someone to step into a position, or are you just leaving stuff? Because if they're stepping into a position, then they understand the responsibility of where they stand. Like my son is going to be a leader of somebody's household. My daughter, maybe somebody's wife, and to help me. And, knowing her position and knowing her power and what she can do, if she decides to become a wife, whatever, she decides she can be, but leaving something that helps set them up to be in a great position instead of just leaving stuff, so they're mentally and spiritually there, and being able to do and maintain, what's given. Absolutely. The why matters. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So yeah, we have to be into a space of we're leaving legacy by leading, the next generation, your reaction, how you speak, a lot of where we're at as a people are based on what we were taught while we were growing up, and who we're leaving to teach our children. Are we leaving, those like celebrities, or are we leading the charge in teaching our children and training them and teaching them what to see and how to act and how to be? Or are we leaving it up to others? That's what I wanted to share with you guys today. So listen, I appreciate you guys rocking and hanging. Not a long show today. I did want to come on because, I never want to miss a day, but I wanted to really talk about, the changes, man, because a lot of my brothers, I know brothers that are stuck. They're just stuck in a space of not being accountable. They're stuck in a space where they're not owning up to their responsibility. And it's not just about kids. And I know that's an issue as well. I know. But, it is about kids as well. But it's that being responsible, man. It's as a man, we have to, own up to our responsibility, and we have to be willing to do the work to become better, regardless of what has happened in the past, and stop holding on to that excuse and why this is not working, why that didn't work because they, and own up to where we are and the decisions we made. Because a lot of us, and not just the men, whatever decisions you made in the past, um, is affecting you right now because you made these decisions. It's no one else's fault. Sometimes we see the signs, but we continue moving forward. So when you see the issues and problems and the things that you're making, because we talked about decisions yesterday, but those decisions are based on a lot of things that we are living internally, and how we react. Remember that the adage, you have to be proactive, not reactive. So we have to stop being reactive triggers, setting us off, and start being proactive and thinking, how should I react? you know, properly, what's the mannerisms, not just reacting off a situation, being proactive, thinking forward. I know this is coming. How can I handle it properly? How could I deal with this? What changes do I need to make internally so I no longer make dumb decisions? All right. So I appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us. Thank you for being a part. So listen, as you can see at the bottom, we have BOL Apparel. Make sure you go to www.brothersoflegacy.com, as well as sign up to be a partner and member. It's costs nothing. And just we're building a database of connections to help our brothers become better and connect them to resources to get them to the next level. So make sure you are part of that, because we want all hands on deck. So we're starting in this area where I'm living now, and we're going to be pushing forward across the nation. But I need you to be a part, and so I can know where you live. I know what area that you're a part of. Brothers of Legacy, by the end of by the beginning of 2022, we got some goals in mind. Thank you, Mama Car. I appreciate it. So make sure you're part of that database. So we're doing some good things, not just getting texts and things, but more than just this broadcast. But this is just our launching pad to let you guys know, let the world know what's going on with the Brothers of Legacy, as well as giving you guys opportunity to input and share on some of the needs that we have in our community. Like I said, Brothers of Legacy is all about not just standing out, but standing up, and us being more present in our households, in our communities, and the world at large. All right. So I appreciate you guys for rocking and hanging with us, as well as being here. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, same time, same channel. And make sure you share, connect with somebody. This is Real Talk. I know you watch a lot of broadcasts online, but the difference between us and maybe quite a few is we're really building something that's going to be lasting and real, like tangible within your community. All right. So we need your support. We need your support. All right. So just continue to pray for us. And like I said, be one of our partners and be a part of our resource if you're a member, and be a member as well. Go to www.brothersoflegacy.com. While you're there, of course, purchase a nice shirt. It'll help. It's a fundraiser, so it helps build funds. It helps give you something back for what you give to us. All right. So as always, stay safe. Continue to wear the mask. I know whatever you may think. Wear the mask. Wear the mask. Be safe. 6 feet. Keep doing it. Let's crush this corona. All right. So we see you guys in the AM. As always, know that we love you, but God loves you more. And I'm gonna say it again in my outro, but I like it. All right. So take care. Peace out. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for rocking, hanging, being. Make sure to sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the background that I know see this show, I appreciate.